Aman and his Equalist movement had so much untapped potential in the Legend of Korra. The Equalist movement is an organization of non-benders who are trying to start a revolution because they believe that they are oppressed by the benders of the world. We later find out that their leader, Aman, is actually a waterbender who is just manipulating the non-benders in order to further his own goals. Even though he's revealed to be a fraud that was just manipulating the anger of non-benders, that doesn't really address why so many non-benders were angry enough to join a revolution to begin with. I'm not trying to justify everything that the Equalists did, but what I am trying to say is that I could see ways in which a non-bender would feel disadvantaged and oppressed in this world. In both Legend of Korra and Avatar: The Last Airbender, we see plenty of examples of benders using their abilities to bully and threaten non-benders. We've even seen non-benders effectively be turned into second-class citizens when they had their rights taken away from them during Republic City's efforts to crack down on the Equalist movement, with them being mass arrested by the police for breaking a curfew that was only placed on non-benders. And also from a cultural perspective, there are examples of non-benders being viewed as inferior. In the comics, there's a flashback of Zuko's childhood where Ozai tells Zuko that when he was first born, he didn't show any signs of being a bender, and because of that, Ozai had considered outcasting Zuko and disowning him because it would have been viewed as an embarrassment in Fire Nation culture for the Fire Lord's firstborn son to not be a firebender. And I think this hints at how much bending is associated with the identity of the four nations. They're literally named after the type of bending that comes from there. So like if you're a non-bender, there could be situations where you might just be viewed as an outsider within your own home. I'm probably overthinking a bit, but wouldn't there also be potential economic differences between benders and non-benders? There are certain jobs that would be more difficult or straight up impossible for non-benders to be able to do. For example, because Mako is a firebender, he's able to lightning bend to charge up generators, something that a non-bender would have no way of doing. Think about other jobs that a bender would have an advantage in. A farmer who's an earthbender could probably farm more effectively. A fisherman who's a waterbender could probably be a better fisherman. Or think about in jobs like policing, security work, or being in the military. A bender would probably be seen as a more valuable asset than a non-bender because on average, they're going to wind up being more powerful. So when you consider the power disparity, the economic disadvantages, and the cultural viewpoints of the world, there are a lot of ways that I could see a non-bender being oppressed that I wish the show would have been able to explore more. Once Aman is revealed to have been a fraud, there's not much more exploration of any of these ideas, and ultimately, I do think that's a shame because